But, yeah, well, but this is the revenue, yeah. It's good to know how much our.
Well, and I have that,
Yeah.
Great, but for us to see.
yes.
Yeah.
It's whatever you know, Terry, you're the boss.
We'll.
You're in town? I don't know.
You're the boss, you're gonna help yourself in nothing.
They're way off, now, we're gonna go by my watch. So. Okay.
Still don't know how much we made it then. No, okay, did you get my, text that said next Wednesday?
Oh,
Did you text me this morning? No, a couple days ago, I sent you a copy of his text. But anyway, he said, can you get somebody here?
Okay, it's 8:30, I'll call the
And,
joint animal
I said,
control
yeah,
board
just tell me
meeting
when
to order.
He didn't say how much yet.
First thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes of June 20th. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from June 20th. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried. Public comment. Is there any public comment?
Sure, I'll.
Okay.
Gee, I'll say something. Okay. What's on the agenda, I guess I'll say, approve the, on your mission statement. There are two little changes that you may wanna consider. And one is, and this is just an English thing, because I'm anal when it comes to English use. And, where it says the animal shelter is committed to providing blah, 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 and then comma, spray neuter, that should be like maybe spay neuter program or spay neuter services or something like that. Doesn't have to be, just my little interjection. But the other thing that I do think you should do is, on the next line where it says an opportunity for a better life to all stray, blah, 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 neglected animals, and get rid of the companion, because I know you've had animals that weren't cats and dogs, and there are animals that aren't companion animals, that doesn't have to be just companion animals. Okay, then the, pet food pantry operations, and I really don't know much about this, so I'm operating on just what people tell me, but I will say that, in my opinion, if people donate food to the animal shelter, then it's up to the people who donated the food to say, like, if I take a bag of cat food, I can tell Dawn,
Minutes from meeting.
oh,
Want a copy?
Thursday, May 17th. Oh, so why didn't I read those?
Oh, that was back on, and what was it?
2018.
18, yeah.
My brain didn't go back that far. But, anyway, if I bring food in, then, and I tell Don, give this food to whoever needs it, whatever animal needs it, it's up to me and her as the donator where that food goes. If it's purchased with county tax dollars, then it's up to you as a committee to come up with a policy for that money. So that's just my opinion on that one. Okay, what else you got here? Resolution to increase dog license fees. I double it even from what you're proposing, so yes, I'm in favor of that. And the last one, options, building and remodeling, Joanne's gonna handle that. And then under the budget review, I looked at the budget and, I don't know all the ins and outs of budgeting, but, I do know, I'm assuming that animal shelter assistant wages of $38,600 is for the second full-time person, and I'm 100% in favor of that, and I hope that especially if you're considering options for shelter hours, that those things go hand in hand. And, the other thing, budgets can be creative, and so if you, let's say, go to, and this again is rumor, that I don't see any reason why if you take an animal someplace to get neutered, why that expense can't come out of car mileage. The spay animal fund rather than the car mileage fund, but creative budgeting, I guess that's all I have to say about that one. And, you know, that would save a little bit on your auto maintenance and gasoline budget.
Okay,
So, that's it.
okay, thank you. Any other public comment?
I guess I'll go. I guess to her point, I would agree with some of the things said. And I wasn't even gonna talk on the food pantry, but I guess I will. In years past, and I don't know where it fell off and changed, I looked through minutes but didn't really see anything. I guess my mom apparently found something. People used to have to disclose that they were a Rusk County resident in years past. And it used to be they could come once a month and that they had to have their animal license prior to receiving food, and I think that would be good to implement that again, because again, the licensing stuff is revenue back to the shelter, whether it's a portion or all of it, I really don't know. But I think that's good to hold people accountable to the state statutes, and I think it's great we have a pet pantry, and that we have a limit of some sort on it, so the same people aren't just coming and wiping it out. And then I guess I'm going to do a play on words with the verbiage of keeping it to agenda items only, since that's technically in the agenda. If it wasn't agenda items only, we could discuss the dogs on Bell School Road that are becoming an even bigger nuisance. 3 individuals went to the Town of Flambeau board meeting on April 16th and spoke out about public safety, and it wasn't
Okay,
addressed.
I'm sorry,
And I'm
that's
talking
not
about
on
if it
the
was,
agenda.
yep, but if it was not limited to agenda items only, we could be discussing that, and I wanted to bring that up as a point.
But it is,
It's interesting that you were trying to silence the public with legitimate concerns. It is animal safety and public safety.
it is 3 minutes.
That is fine.
To
I'm still talking.
agenda items only.
Yep, and I'm talking on agenda items only topic. I'm
No,
disputing.
there's nothing on here about,
Yep, I am just speaking on the fact that it is limited to agenda items only, and why that's bad, because we could be discussing important things that need addressing. So you should stop limiting the public to agenda items only. Because that is BS. So if you wanna keep throwing that in, I'm just gonna keep showing up and saying, well, I'm here to talk about agenda items only and why it's a bad thing. So I guess if we wanna keep going roundy round, that's fine. I'm not going
anything
away.
else?
No, but just take all things into consideration. Thank you guys.
Anybody else for public comment?
Yes, of course. Sorry, I'm gonna sit here, my knees bothering me a little and I didn't get enough sleep last night, so. If the committee is going to implement a food pantry policy for the animal shelter, I'd like you to consider a couple things. First, a shelter is defined as a place providing food and lodging on a temporary or emergency basis. And my simplified takeaway from reading the proposed mission statement is that the purpose of our animal shelter is to protect and serve the people and animals of Rusk County with care, compassion, and empathy. Helping pet owners in need helps their pets. Just because we may never have had to rely on a human or pet food pantry doesn't mean we shouldn't have understanding for others that may need to sometimes. The pet food pantry is an important service to our shelter. Secondly, before this committee chooses to put regulations or stipulations on how food is given out, please remember that the pet food at the animal shelter is not all paid for by county and city taxes. I agree with Paula. The local Walmart donates food, people bring in food items requested on the shelter website, or maybe just drop off a bag of food they bought while doing their own shopping. People make food donations through Amazon and Chewy websites set up by the Fracas nonprofit that gets shipped directly to the shelter. Last year I donated 2 shipments that totaled $468, and this year so far I donated 2 shipments that totaled $370. Chewy gives me the receipt directly, so the shelter may not have a record of who sent it or how much it cost. I personally don't care if my donated food is used for shelter animals or county pets in need. I give to help. And frankly, it bothers me if people who may have never donated food or money to the animal shelter want to micromanage or control what other people have generously given out of the goodness of their hearts. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Again, any other public comment?
Did I use my 3 minutes?
Yes.
You can have my 3 minutes.
Any other public comment?
You can have my 3 minutes.
No, that's okay.
Okay, public comment is closed. First item on the agenda is to approve the mission statement. And you have the mission statement in front of you.
Oh, I would just, about the mission statement, the reason I use companion animal is because every cat and dog is considered a companion animal. So if they go feral or they're farm, I mean, they're still a companion, that's why I use
But
it.
there's been horses and ducks and everything else.
A horse is a companion animal.
Duck
These are-
isn't, not when you pick up at Corbett, sorry. There are animals that aren't companion animals that you still serve.
Yeah, I
Dogs
guess
can
that
be.
we can make comments about this. I mean,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I
To me-
used it, cause I mean, horses
Yeah,
are
to me, the
companion.
difference is at the beginning when you're saying all living things, and then here you're saying companion animals, so it's kind of,
Some people don't consider cats and dogs companions,
Alright,
they're
Get
just
out.
cats and dogs.
Neglected animals in our community, call them
Yeah.
that.
okay, and neglected animals, so strike companion animals, everybody okay with that? Okay?
one other question I had too is, one of the things when I hear about an animal shelter, the first thing I always wanna know is whether or not there are no kills.
Right.
And I just saw a lack of any
No, for them,
putting
Well,
that into there
that
to
can
notify
be-
people.
Well, if you do, I mean, it could be put,
To me, that's just one of the more important
It could
things
be-
when I see it, but.
it could be put in the purpose, like,
Mhm.
we'll continue to support animal welfare by ensuring all animals in our care are healthy, up to date, blah, 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 blah. And then, somewhere in there I could put, I have to figure out how to make the sentence, but, also supporting a no-kill, they have a word for it, I can't think of the line. No-kill community or something like that could be added into there.
I was almost thinking, like, Russ County Animal Shelter is, maybe put that in there, committed to providing, get it up front.
Are you saying Russ, under?
Oh,
mission
Russ County
statement,
Animal Shelter is
shelter?
a no-kill.
Well,
Yeah.
no, just Russ County Animal Shelter, comma, a no-kill shelter,
Sure.
comma, is committed to providing.
There you go.
Is that,
Yes.
I mean, everybody agree to that? And then it's right there,
There.
right in front.
There you go. There you go.
What was it, can I ask, Paul, what was it you said about the spay and neuter thing?
That was just an English thing, and of all the mission statements that I've been involved in, a person could argue, do you put in a comma, take out a comma, and the forever? So if it doesn't bother anybody else, I'd say,
Okay.
don't even worry about it.
Well, but I agree that, okay, so Russ County Animal Shelter, comma, a no-kill, should we say facility rather than shelter?
Yeah.
Say, a no-kill facility is committed to providing a safe refuge, to providing nutrition, to providing veterinary care, to providing spay, neuter services,
Services, good, yeah.
and an opportunity, and to providing an
Sound
opportunity.
okay?
So comma after services then?
Yeah.
But you don't wanna change that the way you said it, do you? Cause you said committed to state refuge, committed to nutrition, committed.
No, we're not gonna say all that.
No, I'm just saying, because you've got to, because it's committed to providing, committed to,
Your dad was an English teacher, right? Wasn't your dad,
So that sentence will, that mission statement will read, Russ County Animal Shelter, comma, a no-kill facility is committed, comma, is committed to providing a safe refuge, nutrition, veterinary care, spay neuter services, comma, and an opportunity for a better life to all stray, unwanted, abused, injured, and neglected animals in our community. Is that everybody?
Do you want a motion on that?
Okay, well, and then we have the purpose here, is that new too? Or
We
did
didn't
you
have a
add-
purpose.
Okay, well, and look at the tagline up above, I mean, like for the advertising, tagline, promoting care, kindness, protection, respect, compassion, responsibility, and empathy to all living.
All really, really fun tag. I don't
It
know
is, but
what words you
But it
take
is
out of it.
it's actually what a person that is educated in, like, someone that specializes in like community, like domestic violence and animal welfare and animal abuse. That basically, if you have an education in animal care, that is what that person is supposed to promote. So that's kind of why I did it that way. It is a little bit long, but there are other, taglines that are about, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess you
Yeah,
can
no, I
take
get it.
out, I mean, care and kindness, but care is basically you're caring for them, you're being kind to them, you're protecting them from, you know, whatever. You're respecting them, you're being compassionate, you're being responsible, and you're being empathetic. So those are all different things, and those are all what a person or anybody in animal care should be doing, whether it's, and it's not, and I put all living things because it doesn't matter if the cat is feral or dog is or whatever, it's, you have to deal with a person. Because someone's gonna call you about it, you know what I mean, so it's kind of a whole, I guess why, that's why I put it that way.
No, I just, I
So-
couldn't imagine what word you take out of there without taking the.
Okay, so we're okay with that?
Yeah.
Tagline, just, okay, and then the mission statement, we agree, look at the purpose. Is that?
Do a lot of research on it.
I
Clear and concise, it's to the point.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think you have to take out the comma after, in our care new homes, that there should be a comma in there.
Shouldn't be?
Should not be, no.
After homes, you said.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a comma.
I'm typing this up as you guys go.
Maybe I should have one in front and behind.
Yeah, you guys didn't, when I sent you the email, did I include the old one?
No,
This one I did.
well.
But you didn't have a tagline, and you did not have a purpose, you just had a mission statement, so that,
That was smaller than three.
well, it said you bring in animals and then dispose of ones that are not, and I was just like, you cannot, I did not like that. I mean, it happens, but you don't
Don't write it.
write that.
Yeah.
It just makes it sound like it's a piece of garbage that you're just gonna dispose of in
Yeah.
the trash.
Throw it in the freezer for a while.
And I'm from the old school, so add up to date on appropriate age vaccinations, comma, and spay and neuter before that. I know the modern thing is you don't put commas in the last one, but we were always taught you always put commas in. So, any further discussion on this? I mean,
Could I say something?
yeah,
Just to add to it, when we talked about the different shelters and their hours and all that, I had looked up about Dane County, the Humane Society, and they had a spot where they said adoption guarantee, and it said they guarantee that all healthy companion animals or those with treatable medical or behavioral conditions. I don't know if you wanna stipulate, you know, that you're adopting out, you're finding homes for the ones that are, you know, medically treatable, healthy,
Well, I
don't
put
have
all the
behavioral-
animals in our care.
are healthy before they are adopted, so I think that probably covers that.
Yeah, I think so.
We don't wanna make.
Say it
I have
again.
it healthy, I have healthy on there.
Yeah.
Are healthy.
Okay.
I didn't wanna make it too long and,
Then you lose.
cause when I did the research on purposes and
But
taglines.
you
and-
do say you're dedicated to finding all the animals in our care new homes, I guess you can be dedicated to it, that doesn't mean you're going to, I guess, so. Okay.
So motion to approve the tagline, mission statement, and purpose as changed. Modified.
With corrections.
Yeah, so basically you're approving the page, tagline mission statement.
With
Okay.
the corrections.
The motion has been made, to approve the tagline, mission statement, and purpose, as corrected. Is there a second? Okay, motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Okay, pet food pantry operation, and that was Nancy's.
I have something to say first about the pet food pantry.
Okay.
Can I? Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Moore? So,
Did you?
I guess I'm really confused about pet food pantry. So, it was stated that, just a minute ago, how it fell off and changed. I don't, like, what changed? Like, I don't understand,
Back
So-
when, I guess, I'm sorry, back when Carolyn was here, I guess
Yeah.
it was, that's what the time frame and stuff you had said,
yeah,
if you get the donations. And we came up with how with Karen to limit it to 4 times a year.
okay, but how do we know that's not being done?
The Auto Farm in particular,
I haven't given him any food.
in the past you have, and I talked with Terry about this too.
Otto?
Yeah, the farm, all the dogs.
He might have gotten, like, I think when we went out there to get the puppies, we would bring food so we could get them and get the puppies.
I recall being told there were several bags of food brought out each time, plus they came and got food.
I was out there once.
Terry
One
said he
time.
taking food out, other people
That was
said.
before me.
No,
That was way
No.
before me.
I haven't taken food out to him at all.
So when we,
Before-
go
ahead.
when you go out to his
Sorry.
farm and you're trying to gather 26 puppies, you have to bring something.
Obviously,
I've never given Gary Otto food.
maybe he did have.
He, maybe, but the thing about it is, if he came, I think he came in, he might have come in once, and it wasn't Gary, it was his brother. I think
Yes.
his brother came in once and got a bag of food, but that was a while ago, and he hasn't.
I'm not saying it was recently.
Right, so. He hasn't come in, he came in once maybe last year, I think, and that was his brother. And the only time that I ever gave any food is when I had to go out there and capture a bunch of dogs. So, and it wasn't like bags and bags, he'd bring like a treat box, or sometimes we'd get donated those little camper, what are they called? You know the little food that comes in the bag that's really cheap?
I can't.
Sample?
No, anyways, so that stuff, but it wasn't, but he hasn't come in for a while, so anyways. I didn't know about the 4 times per year, because there is nothing at that shelter that told me how anything was done prior,
Right.
nothing, period, nothing. So I only have to go by what the staff there tells me. So what was told is we, have a food pantry. If someone comes in and they need food, we give it to them. We do not give food that our pets eat. I will not do that, because
Right, which makes sense.
otherwise we don't have enough.
Mhm.
So, the food that goes to anybody is donated by, people that either their pets died. Sometimes people will bring in food that we don't use, because if we change the animal shelter's foods, they get diarrhea, so we always feed them exactly the same food. Moist food, dog food, cat, whatever it is. So we don't give any food out that has been purchased by Russ County, period. I won't do it unless,
Right,
and
understand.
I've never had an emergency where someone's like, I really need a bag. And then I've had 4 people come in the last month, and those are all different people. They have a sheet I put them on so I can keep track, and we don't have a lot of people, so we notice when if someone keeps coming in. We had one guy that came in, he only came in like, I wanna say, maybe it was his 2nd or 3rd time, and then, we were like, hey, just so you're aware, we can only give you so much food, so many times a year. So we let him know that,
How much was it at that time?
it was just a.
No, I mean, how much do you think he was, or what did you tell him time frame was? How many times
I
he was
didn't tell him a time frame, cause I didn't know it was 4 times a year, but I try to be like, if someone like, and I haven't had this happen except for that one guy, if they like keep coming in, it's like, you have animal, cause we have other people, and there are times when we have been completely out of donated food. So we do know who's coming in, and most of them do not come in that much.
Well, I just
So-
wanted a matter of record, because at one of the meetings was brought up, and I said, well, there's a time frame or a time limit to do it, and I was told by, I believe it was you, Terry, I think you said it too, that there isn't, we can do it as many times as we want, something. So that's why,
Well, that's,
we
no,
didn't-
that's
we
good,
didn't know this.
if there
Right,
is,
that's why I'm bringing it up now.
so this kind of stuff here, that has been approved by the board, that's only 4 times a year, that's completely fine with me, I don't have an issue with that unless someone has an emergency, you know, like, I don't know. But,
Well, it's like somebody would
these-
lose their job and couldn't be paying for food for a while.
Right.
Yeah, what kind of thing's the
But
problem?
this kind of stuff, these kind of policies and stuff, those should be told to me.
I'm doing it.
You are, but it's like 2 years later, and like someone could just say, hey, Dawn, call me up, are you aware that, we only do this 4 times a year, it was in this board meeting, I'd be like, oh, okay, now I know,
But I wanted
awesome.
the whole board to know about it.
So,
Actually, like 6 years later.
oh,
It's 2018.
Well, she wasn't here though then.
no, I wasn't, but I don't know what was done before me, but like I said, there's nothing written down, so if you throw someone into a position and they have to go by their employees, what their employees are saying, and there's nothing in the computer, there's no protocols, there's no, nothing, it's kinda hard for me to, but
Right, but
common knowledge would tell
Right.
me that if someone's coming in constantly, then we need to like have a talk with them and just explain like, you keep coming in and getting all this food, we don't have this food for everyone else. So, but I haven't had any, and Otto had not gotten any dog food from me except when we went out there, and that was beginning of 2022.
Right.
So, but we don't go out there anymore, so.
Well, I had this for the agenda for 2 months
Okay.
ago.
And about the licensing, I guess I don't really agree with that. I mean, I'm not saying that I can't check them out and then send them like a notice or a letter saying, hey, don't forget to get your dogs, but I don't feel like I should penalize someone, especially if their animal's hungry. And everybody from, we do make sure they're Russ County residents, we can look them up, we can get their address, all that stuff, but I don't mind like saying, hey, is your cat or dog, if they live in the city, is it this or that, and give them a notice, but I'm not gonna, the purpose of the food pantry, and that is the animal shelter, that's not the humane officer, I'm not giving that food out, the animal shelter is. I can check and see if they're licensed, I can give them educated, like, you know, your cat's supposed to be licensed in the city, Ladysmith, we don't get a lot of people coming in for cat food, I've had one in like a really long time.
No.
It's mostly dogs, which, and yes, they should be rabies vaccinated licensed, but I don't think that should be made a stipulation of the food pantry. So if they say, no, it's not, sorry, your dog's gonna go hungry until you can get your dog into the vet.
But if you let them know.
But if I
And
let
would
them
you do a
know
would
and
you do a
remind
follow-up?
them, yeah,
Do a follow-up? Okay.
yes, definitely. And just say, hey, you know, this is supposed to be done, if you can do this, cause if they don't have money for food, they don't got money for
Right.
the vet exam, and I'm not saying that's okay, but I can steer them into, you know, other ways to get that, but, I don't want anybody's dog going hungry because of
I don't either.
a rabies vaccine.
Licensing and vaccination wasn't.
Isn't in here.
It's not, but it was mentioned that somebody had been checking them, that I don't know if Stephanie said that
Something did,
Karen
yes.
said they must have a license or something, or.
I can't remember if it was Karen or Carol in one of them.
But, and I don't have an issue with checking into it, looking into it, but I'm not gonna deny them a bag of food.
Is much cat food donated, or is it more dog food? I'm just curious.
We get about this, Walmart gives us a lot of stuff, so it's pretty even, it just kinda depends on what we just actually got a donation from, Tractor Supply too, a bag of dog food.
No, nice.
So I told them that, to let them know that we will take, you know, whatever.
Anything and everything.
Yeah, I mean, as long
The
as we
more the
can,
better.
as long as we can use it.
Right.
So
You
we
do
might be getting
you do
some.
document this though, who comes in when they
I
come
have it
in?
on a list, yeah, I have it on a list. I wasn't doing it before, and then there wasn't one, so then I was like, well, maybe we should start keeping track of these people, but usually, there's not so many of them coming in where you, like, lose them, but it's still good to keep track, because if I'm not working and someone else is working, then we kinda know.
Right, cause I know of an
There is a
individual
list.
who would come in
Yep.
repeatedly, this was many years ago.
But I can
That's what
I can check everybody, I know there was one lady on their dogs were rabies vaccinated and licensed. The other one just came in yesterday, so I haven't checked her yet, but I can do that, and then I can always send them a letter saying, hey, you know, your dog is rabies licensed. I mean, I'm not gonna issue them a citation, because obviously they don't have any money, so.
I don't know if you can do this or not, but, you might wanna consider just as as far as the food pantry goes for the pets, when it becomes necessary for you to give somebody something,
Mhm.
just make sure that it's donated food.
It is,
That way
yep.
nobody else should even have a concern about it, except for
No,
the people
we
that
don't.
actually donate the food.
Yep, we don't use any purchased food to give people.
That's how it's been, for the last 6 years, as far as. I
Yeah.
know.
Cause the food we purchase is the food we use, and we don't use any, unless someone donates food that is our kind of food, I don't give that away either, so if people are donating food.
Right,
And
because I
it's
would
our
assume-
brand, I do
yeah.
not give that away, because we need that, cause otherwise it's gonna start costing us. So, but we usually get enough donated stuff to,
Have
for
you
people
run
paying
out
some.
of the food pantry?
I
food
have.
since you've been here? Okay.
I have, I think someone asked once, and I think, it was like, they wanted dog food, I don't think we had any, but it was like one day, and then we ended up getting some donations. So usually if that happens, we say, hey, we'll call you. If it was desperate, if someone was desperate, I would probably take a couple of scoops out of one of our bins and just put it in a Ziploc form for a couple days until we got donations, cause that's not gonna hurt
But you haven't been out
anybody,
of it for weeks on end?
No, couple days, maybe. So we always take people's food, if someone wants to donate their animals' food that passed away, we always take it, cause I know there's always people that are looking for something.
Do you have anything else that you wanna bring up about that?
No.
Question for Dawn, I'm sorry. So if you are donating from like Chewy or Amazon and it is stuff that you have said, we want this, these are
Yep.
things. So that food is not getting donated to,
That is for our shelter animals.
okay, that's unfortunate.
Well, I mean.
That's not how I feel, but that's fine.
If you, now, Joanne, if you want to purchase food that you wanna use for the food pantry, just let me know, and I can put that aside.
Okay.
Because our animals always eat the same food, and if we run out, because say you donated and I gave those bags to somebody, now I have to go to Walmart and purchase $200 worth of cat or kitten food,
Mhm.
because what you gave, I gave to somebody else. But if you want to do that and you wanna provide food for the food pantry, just let me know and I will say, and I will let everybody know this food is for the food pantry.
Okay.
Or you could get a different brand if you want, so it's not confusing. Like if you wanted to get a different brand of cat food or dog food, that's completely fine.
I just, the convenience of doing it, online, getting it shipped
Yeah.
and not dragging in this heavy.
I just
food
don't
and
want
that,
it-
so, okay, that's good to know.
Stuff coming back on me because I'm giving, $200-300 worth of county paid
Right.
food away. But yeah, I mean, if you, just let me know, if there's food that you wanna donate for pantry, I will absolutely
Okay,
set it
thank you.
aside, and you can definitely do that.
Dawn, does the list you have of food that you need, that's just for the animal shelter, or for the shelter?
Yes, yeah.
What do you think the idea of putting up a list for maybe
The food pantry?
food pantry, yeah?
Maybe, yeah, I could do that. I could figure that
And
out.
explain that the food pantry is for, it's how it works.
Because then we could do a little, I mean, our food for our animals is not, it's like middle. There is cheaper food and there is more expensive food, we kinda use the middle, because that way there's not as many bills.
Saving money.
Yeah, so we could do something where there's, but yeah,
Actually, the food pantry stuff is a very, very minor, small thing. I mean, in the whole scheme of things, right?
yeah, I mean,
I
people
mean,
have
you
been
don't
hurting lately, so I'm sure,
really increase.
I have people asking me for all kinds of things, and I tell them I can't. I'm not a licensed veterinarian, and they want me to, I'm just like, I can't do that, you gotta take it out of that. And now there's no licenses over, I'm sorry, I can't. Just
They
stuff.
want you to treat.
Like
their
deworming, flea, defleeing, like if we have someone donated like flea and tick, they can give a couple bucks, like a donation for some of that stuff.
Right.
But if it's a little puppy, or I'm just like, you're gonna,
Makes sense. What did you do to your arm?
Oh, I fell. I actually have a severe, bruise and I also sprained my thumb. This was on
shelter.
Sunday.
Oh,
No. At home, I just,
Well, you got one on the jaw too, I see.
no, this actually, they think might be skin cancer,
Oh, I'm sorry.
so I have to go to the dermatologist.
Jeez. Good luck on that.
Don't worry, they're checking it out.
Okay, anything else about the food pantry operations? Nothing really changes except that now we know no more than 4 times
see, I'm assuming nobody's gonna get on me if I
No.
go over.
Well, and again, because this was done then, our committee could change that too.
Right, but it's fun.
But, that, yeah, cause we didn't even know
Right.
about it.
No, it's good to know.
So thank you for bringing that. Okay, let's move on then to resolution to increase dog licensing fees for 2025. You have a resolution in there that I, wrote up and got, approved. Well, you're going to approve it. This says draft, so I have the regular one. So again, because, well, just reading it, the last time dog licenses were increased was for 2012. It was done in, yeah, it was done before we got on the board.
Oh, I thought, we done it since.
It was done in 2021.
I was gonna say it had to be done before I got here.
Yeah, it was done on 2021 was the last time it was increased. And don't ask me why they put 50 cents on the amount.
Question that too.
That- So, just look, well, they ended up with a lot more, I mean, they're listing every single thing, if you look at the statutes and everything, but I decided that wasn't necessary because we reference it here. So if you look at this, whereas under section 8-33 of the Russell County Code of Ordinances, the minimum required fee for dog license outlined as required by the state. Okay, we're above the minimum. And that's gonna have to get changed in it because it's incorrect in the county ordinances. Whereas the operating costs for the animal shelter continue to increase, and whereas the increase in dog licensing fees will provide additional revenue without raising the tax levy, and whereas the Joint Animal Control Board, as us, recommends an increase in fees. So then you can see the old one and the new, we're just basically rounding up and getting rid of the 50-cent things, and then multiple dog license. All the other ones, there's like, if you have more than one dog in the multiple thing, it's an additional $3 and all this. All the rest of it stays the same. All we're doing is the basic dog license thing. Whereas the increase in fees will result in a revenue increase of approximately $6,400. We do not get any dog money from the city. So this is really county dogs. Now therefore be it resolved of the Russell County Board, well, okay, this is what we're going to recommend. Well, if you approve it and sign it, then this is gonna go to the county board meeting at their next county board meeting to be approved, because it has to be approved by the county board. So, therefore be it resolved, the Russell County Board approves the increase and amends the section 8-33 to reflect the increases in J and N. That's where the dollar amounts were changed, and they didn't do it. When they passed it before, there was an error in the resolution, and then they corrected the resolution, but they never made the correction in the county ordinances, which I caught when I was going through all that. So, this, and again, this approximately 6,400, that's based on taking the number of dogs, whether spayed, whether male, female, spayed, or neutered, or not, based on 2023, and just assuming, like, for example, if they're spayed, neutered, adding $2.50 times that number, just to see, again, that's an approximation. It's just basically, there's no other way to do that. So it'd come up with about, like, say, about $6,400 increase in revenue. And since it doesn't increase the tax levy, right, it's additional, they're always saying, well, animal shelter's gotta get, raise money, additional funds, so this is one way of doing it. So any questions about this or discussion on it? Yep. We could wait long, I want it in because, so if they start selling 2025 dog licenses in October,
Yeah.
we want, it's already out here, it's already done, and, you know,
My only concern is that people will say, well, it's costing me $10 now to get my dog license, and I think about doing it. I know they have to, but there will be,
but you'll always have that.
right.
I mean, it could be almost free and they would still
Oh, yeah.
complain about. Yeah, and I think it's reasonable, again, rounding up, and multiple dog licenses. And I believe, do you know what licenses are in other counties around here? A lot more.
Sawyer County, I wanna say is, I think they're like 20 and 25 for licenses, I don't know which state either, I know it's 20 some for theirs.
So, you know, if we keep,
I do have a question about that. These increases will be effective January first, but then you're talking about someone buys a license in October,
but it's a 2025 license.
but is that the right wording for it to be a 2025 license? Or should it say, these increases will be effective for licenses effective 2025?
We can change.
We don't sell licenses in October though for 25.
Do they not get sold until after January first?
No, I think they do.
I don't know, I think if somebody comes in and like say I send someone a citation, cause they don't have their dog license, they'll come in like December. And so I think sometimes they'll give them they might give them a 2025, cause otherwise they're gonna have to get another one in another week anyways. But by
And the
usually October is a
licenses
little
are
early,
per calendar year?
Yep.
yeah, the first till the 31st, yeah, December. But I don't think they would sell them before, you guys don't, you don't, it's,
I would say if you're gonna do anything, I would do like December 15th or something.
yeah, they won't sell them before that.
I don't,
We
No,
send our
you-
dog renewal licenses out with the taxes and our.
right,
So they get them way before, January first.
well, not way before, you don't send them out until December, the taxes.
Well, I'm saying, it is before January.
Right, I mean, the other resolution from in 21 says, be it further resolved that these fee increases go into effect October 1, 2021. But again, it, yeah, I understand your point, and I thought about that, but they have to get a 2025 license, or a tag, I should say.
But do they get those in October?
I don't think you guys even
They
get
don't
them,
even have them.
they don't even have them that early.
I don't know if you wanna put a date earlier, I mean, unless we just say further that these increases will be effective for calendar year 2025.
For the licenses for the calendar year?
These increases will be effective for calendar year 2025. Is that,
That makes sense, it sounds, it should cover it then.
so whenever, whatever date it was for the calendar?
Right, if they get it, like Dawn said, toward the end of the year, like just give
They
them a
probably
25%.
just give them a 2025.
Yeah. I thought I'd seen it somewhere that somebody was confused with the licensing, it was like, well, it was like 23 calendar year, but they had a 24, and I think so the date, like you said, it was toward the end, yeah.
So, do we want this changed to that these increases will be effective for calendar year 2025? Is that going to eliminate all the questions?
More defined.
Okay.
So we want to say that these businesses will be effective
Effective for calendar year 2025. Okay.
Okay, let me just say this word, because it'll define that.
Right.
I'll do it.
I mean, do you think that clarifies it pretty much, you know, if they're looking at saying, well.
Yeah, because they
like
can't say, well, this is December 20th, you can't charge me that amount, but it's for the
Then
calendar
next
year
year.
you get the license. Yeah, I think that clarifies it.
And then we'll get a legal opinion saying you can't put that.
Probably.
Okay, for calendar year 2025. Will be effective for calendar year 2025. And Tom's point is that, we send out with the tax statements go out the middle of December. And so there's a notice in there saying how much it is and everything, and that has the dates on it and all of that.
So if somebody does buy a license in October, they're gonna have to buy another license.
Yes,
Fine.
yes.
Cause they should have their license, by the deadline.
Unless they just got it out.
That's,
sooner.
So,
that's a little different if they just, I mean, just add a dog, but most people that get their licenses every year just do that anyways, it's the people that don't do that. $750 really isn't that.
But $10 will be.
Well, it's even amount, so you don't have that.
Don't have to keep taking out.
But then they'll wonder why it's changed to even. I mean, there'll be questions.
Yeah, you have it,
Yep, I
If-
will
if
ask
we-
them to bring it back down.
okay, and then if it gets changed, then if something's wrong with it, then, we have next month to get it up. Okay, so motion, oh, wait, okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the increasing the dog licensing fees for 2025 with the change, well, I guess we're gonna change it now, so to approve it, that these increases will be effective for calendar year 2025. So,
Motion to approve the resolution.
second.
It's your time.
So motion's made and seconded, to approve increasing dog licensing fees, for 2025. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, motion carries. And then we will bring it back and have you all sign it. Okay, next thing on the agenda is options for building and remodeling, and that, Joanne, you guys all got a packet.
Got ours at home.
You got a packet and drawings, and I think this is more for, discussion, because Joanne has made some changes in what she originally sent out. And this is, we're not gonna decide anything today, but it's to toss things out and talk about it, and, so this is open to anybody who wants to make comments on, changing the design, or basically, as you know, we have the architect's plans and everything for adding the 20 by 40 foot cat room addition at, a healthy cost. And so, Joanne wanted to talk about possible options for, possibly remodeling inside, remodeling what's already there, or maybe adding just a teeny bit on, or adding on stuff. And so with that said, again, this is for discussion, I'll turn it over to you, Joanne.
Thank you. Let me start by saying it's not my intention to crush the dreams of a shelter addition. I wanted to propose some possible alternatives for people to consider, and not just because they could be cheaper, but because I'd really like to see improvements done as soon as possible to provide the separate cat spaces that Dawn feels are needed. Dawn is the most qualified manager, humane officer our Rusk County Animal Shelters had. She has 20+ years of shelter management experience. She has solved a major dog issue and cat colony problem. She knows the laws and cares about helping animals and people. I value her knowledge and opinions about good policies for the shelter, and I want to make our shelter the best it can be. My help is not just about money that I have donated or that I may donate. I've invested very much, so much of myself in our animal shelter. Except for my family and helping build a new school and playground, publicly supporting and helping to get our current shelter built has been the most meaningful accomplishment of my life. I'm passionate about making improvements and maintaining the quality of the building into the future, even after I'm gone. That's why I established and contribute yearly to the Shelter Building Sustainability and Enhancement Fund within the Rusk County Community Foundation. But I would really like to see shelter improvements done before I'm dead and gone, and I do have concerns about the high price of the addition and how long it could take to raise the funds. Last time, I gave it my all to advocate and fundraise to get our current shelter built. This time, I'm older and don't have the energy or desire to work that hard. If a shelter addition is wanted, some new people need to really step up to make it happen. Before we start open discussion, I would like to address a couple specific items. First, I would like to point out that the handicap accessible door buttons could be installed now, even if it was decided to go ahead with an addition. We have not paid for or gotten blueprints, so our current plan could be modified. Both of our current cat playrooms are eliminated in the addition plan. The one next to the proposed vestibule is eliminated to become an entrance and part of a hallway. I think the proposed plan could be modified to eliminate the new vestibule, to keep the existing first cat playroom, and to keep our entryway where it exists. I believe strongly that for everyone's sake, we need to get the automatic door buttons installed as soon as possible. To help make that an actual possibility, I have put in writing an offer to pay for the purchase and installation of said door buttons. I've signed my names to 2 copies that I have here, one for myself and one for Terry, that has a line for each of you committee members to sign, showing that you are witnesses to my genuine offer. Offer reads, I, Joanne Spooner, being of sound mind at the moment, sincerely promise to pay for the installation of the handicapped accessible push buttons on the 2 front entry doors of the Russ County Animal Shelter building. Payment is not to exceed $10,000 and comes with 2 stipulations. 1, the installation be done by a professional company that sells and installs such products, and 2, the installation be done as soon as possible. My offer to pay expires in 90 days. And I have signed these already at a time. And I will date them as well, and then Dawn, I don't have one for you.
Can I ask you a question, Joanne?
Yes.
What if we can't get, someone in that time frame? Is it null and void then?
I put a time limit on it because I want you to seriously consider it,
Okay,
and let's move forward. You know, that's 3 months.
right.
I don't even know if it's been a year and a half we started talking about it. I don't remember exactly.
When I got here, I think
Right.
that was the first time.
Yeah, we started talking about the addition, and it's a sore point that I'd like us to really think about. I guess, I wrote that one.
So Joanne, suppose that we do contract, a legitimate company to put in the doors, however, they cannot put them in within that 90 days, but we have a signed contract with them, then would you still honor that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to put a limit on how much time you have to think about it.
Okay.
And if you say, okay, yeah, I think we really wanna do that, we're gonna get an estimate, we're gonna do this, you know.
Then do we need to talk to Operation about this too, or not?
Just so
And this
you
is
know-
just a witness, this is not saying you accept the offer, this is just to say, okay, I was at this meeting, I'm not just talking off the top of my head, I'm really making a serious offer to you guys that I would pay for it.
Okay. I thank you for that. However, just so you're aware, we are not in violation of the ADA stuff. Our current thing is okay. State building inspector has inspected it. It is okay. We do need, I believe there's a button, like a doorbell or something that doesn't work. We need to get that fixed. But we are in compliance. We do not have to have, and even now, if you're building a new building, you do not have to have push buttons for ADA in the state of Wisconsin. So, we are in compliance. So this, I thank you for it, so I don't know.
Okay, well, one of my points is that it is a bone of contention. And I'm tired of coming to the meetings and having arguments and, you know, people being upset, and it is an important thing. So why not accept that you don't have to pay for it? That's kind of why I wanted to do it now too, is that you're preparing for the coming budget. And that if you know that there are funds available, we don't have to go begging to the county board or anybody else. There's this money here. Take advantage of it. It's important for the direction of our building, the whole project, how we're moving forward, that we know that it could get done, could be done, you know, kinda anytime, if we decide either A, we don't wanna do the big addition, or B, we can modify things. So that is why I done it, because I think there's so much tension going on that we don't need. We need to move forward, we need to be concerned about the building, getting this other second full-time person and the other issues. Okay. Moving on, if you guys will sign those and get one back to me, give one to Terry, that would be great. Secondly, while considering the entryway, I looked a little harder at the second cat playroom becoming part of the addition hallway that's approximately 33 feet long by 6 feet. It made me wonder if it's the best financial option to allocate 198 square feet of an expensive plan for a hallway. My brain has been whirling for weeks. Then I started thinking how an addition with a smaller footprint and smaller hallway might work. I started out with a rough idea and then tried to overlay parts of another actual copy of the floor plan to make the spaces a little more exact. It would be a much more basic plan and likely less expensive. So I have another possible option for you to look at today that I'll show you.
Joanne, could I ask you a quick question?
Sure,
Sorry to interrupt you.
that's fine.
In regards to the doors,
Yes.
okay, so you, obviously it'd be the existing front door now.
Yes.
And then, are you talking about the possible, where you're suggesting to, where it is now storage, where you thought it would be that door? So that would be handicap accessible for people that wanted to come into view cats, if we chose to, you know, go with your plan?
Which plan now?
Your plan, in your plan, didn't you, it wasn't your suggestion to change that storage room into like a cat viewing room? Did I read that right? Or-
No, that had to be nixed because my brain did not realize there's metal on the back of the cages. And if you put all the cages in the storage room, you wouldn't be able to look in at those cats. And I did send you an email, you know, saying, okay, I made a mistake on that one.
Okay, alright. Then, never mind.
Okay, thanks for the question.
So then it's gonna be the door by the cat quarantine? That door? You said, cause you said 2 doors.
No, there are 2 doors in the entryway. You have to go in the front door, you have to go in the, entry, and then you go through another door. I'm sorry.
Alright,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Anyway, I am still much in favor of doing renovation and reorganization to improve our existing shelter. I expressed many ideas and opinions in the packet I gave you, but at the end, I said they were for your consideration. I asked lots of questions and asked for your input, so I hope you have come with comments and ideas to share. I recently read about a project that brought together people on opposite sides of an issue, and they called the project "Come, Let Us Reason Together." I like that. That's how I truly feel about considering options for improving our shelter building. So, let us reason together. And I will give you more confusion, but, and they're rough because, I did actually use the prints I had. The big red area is making the dimension, Nancy got one?
Yeah.
I got it, thank you.
Keeping the playroom one playroom, keeping our entry, and making the, footprint of the dimension plan smaller, and then on the next one, I kind of did a rough sketch of a possibility. Maybe we could make the playroom go the other direction, and so that, I'm putting that out there for.
Well, this is including in a part of an addition?
Looks like a little bit, just making it smaller.
This is a different alternate idea than.
But in addition.
But putting an addition on, but also using the back storage area for isolation. So that all of the healthy cats would be up front. You know, the playroom, the cages, leave the adoption room, so you expand the adoption room into that other area. And there is a floor sink in there, whether or not that, you want to keep it, that would reduce the number of cages in there. It's just, another thought I had, could explore. And then using the meet and greet for nursery or quiet room, isolation in the back, a smaller addition. And it's just a possible, another thought. Okay. So I will open it up to discussion and comments, but I would like to say that when I wrote this, I said about how much money we'd have to raise. And I put in, on the top end, if I doubled my pledge, which was $75,000 originally when we started talking about this. So I said in here that even if I doubled that, and I can't, say for sure how much the Friends group has, but if I doubled that would still leave $382,500 for us to raise. But if I only gave you my $75,000 pledge that I originally said, that would leave $457,000 to raise instead. I don't know.
And I did get a name of a contractor,
Mm-hmm.
when I went to, oh my God. I went out there on the Saturday to get a donation, they do like a ATV run for us or something every year, so I go out to their camp on a Saturday, anyways. One of the guys had asked about the addition, and, it's a lot of money, he gave me a name of a contractor, so I do have a name of someone that is local, that he suggested, like, show him what you got and see what he thinks, and so there is always a possibility of getting another opinion of what we already have drawn out, because we did pay for all that, and just kinda see. I mean, it would be, one thing that would help, like, immediately, because obviously you can't really do any kind of construction when you have nowhere for anybody to go. But if the animal shelter, like, had an actual garage, not this garage, you can't put you got animals in there, so you can't really use that for a garage. The animal shelter actually had a garage that was heated, all that storage, because a lot of this garage here has a ton of storage in it too, like, it's not just cats, we've got all kinds of stuff, and you can't keep food outside in a shed. And our traps and our kennels, we have to be able to get to them and not go through the snow. We need them, like our dog traps and all that stuff. If there was a garage, that could help almost immediately move all that food and those traps, but we have to be able to get into the garage without getting snowed on it, it'd have to be somehow connected and heated. We could go in there, even that freezer that's back there could go in that garage, because it's heated but that would give almost immediate relief. You could potentially put more cats back there, but the ventilation in there has to be fixed before that, but you know what I mean? And then the wall where the dogs are, has to be soundboarded, because it is like, the dogs are right next to the cats, and that is very stressful. Obviously there's dogs not in there all the time, so we don't leave them in there, but like if a dog gets picked up overnight and barks all night long, the cats that are on that wall are freaked out.
Oh, I bet they're just
It's like they're right next to them.
it shakes their cages,
Seriously?
yes.
Okay, yes, and I agree totally. I
Yeah.
did put that in that second email I sent to you, that I agree that it could be.
Yeah.
It could be
But
fixed
that's one
after-
way to
and
alleviate a
ventilation.
situation
Right,
quickly.
and I did actually, just the other day talk to, one of the fellows at, Tony Lumber. And just as a rough estimate, he said, okay, a 2-car garage with cement, electricity, heat would probably be, 40, geez, I don't remember, how much it was 45,000?
And that's not,
Something like that, in the 40,000 anyway, and which, you know, definitely could be an option. And I think the kind of good part about doing renovation and rearranging is that it could be done in phases. You know, there are things we could do right now, like, for example, someone suggested to me just buying good storage units for the dog area. The dog area could really use
well, and
a lot more
maintenance,
stuff.
maintenance has been talked to about that, I gave them, but maintenance has not had time to help me. Cause I've talked to
Yeah, I
them
know
about
you
the
told me
dog
that.
room, I've talked to them about the laundry room, because I need shelving in there and all that stuff, but, they had said, well, when we get caught up with whatever we're doing, we will come help you, but it's been a year and a half.
Right, and
So-
we could hire someone to do it, that's the point.
You're happy
And-
asking for that stuff? I'm sorry, Joanne.
Not asking, but it's building stuff, like they have to literally, like, the
Right.
2 cat rooms need to be, the multi-cat rooms need to kind of be redone, because when they were built, the cement is separating from the wall, you know, from the drywall,
Right.
so there's a seam, and all the little cat litter goes in there, and the walls are really, it just wasn't really set up for cleaning, you know, it's hard, you can
Right.
clean it, but it's tough.
Takes quite a while to do.
But, and then the dog room actually needs counter space, it does not have that, we're using a cage, it's not easy to clean. So they did know about that, they know about the cat rooms, there was shelving that needs to be in the dog room, because there's shelving units, but they're floor, they're shelved that stand on the floor in the dog room, and so when a dog goes by, we've already had a couple times where they just lift their leg, and they pee all over our blankets, so we have to rewash all our blankets. So they know about it, it's just,
Right.
everybody has a lot to do, and, you know what I mean, it's like, they just didn't get to us yet, but.
Okay, and would the county build wooden structures, or, you know, what would they do? Because to me, I think, you know, some pre-made, resin or, you know, waterproof kind
Yeah, it
of
has to be waterproof,
storage
yeah.
would probably do just as well.
But I think I wouldn't put it on the floor, I would have it
But see, the ones I
Raised.
looked at were like
really tall.
8, and, you know, there were some that were like 8 feet tall, or 7, maybe not 8, 7. And each shelf could hold 75 pounds, which is quite a bit, you know, even if you wanna put some dog food in the bottom and you put some on some shelves or whatever, and they, you know, they close up. You could get 2 big units, I said in the email, that would be tall, and I don't know, they might have been 4 feet wide, and then just a counter one too, and you could do that for $700 approximately.
It wouldn't be too, but I don't know if that's something cause maintenance, I don't know if they have to do that, cause they're the ones who have to talk with the people that are putting that in. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just something you just put in.
I know, but in the dog room, you actually need a counter space,
Right,
because there's a sink right there. So a counter space where you can actually prepare the food and all that stuff is what we don't have out there.
mhm,
And then, so a shelving unit is nice, it has doors, but we actually need in the dog room a counter space.
yeah.
And
Well,
we need
if you get a
something that
lower
has-
one, it has
yeah.
a base to do stuff on.
Does
too.
it? Okay, well, I don't care. Somebody wants to,
No, I'm just
Someone's
I'm
gonna
just
have
throwing
to
it out
do
that,
it.
you know, I could
I mean,
get some
maintenance is gonna
pictures
have
and
to
give
do
them
it.
to you, or, you know, look up some more research. It was just a quick thing I went online and looked at.
cause maintenance will have to come in there and move all that stuff and get rid of it or whatever. I don't know.
But as far as some of the other smaller things, you know, like, one of the things I suggested was, how much are we using the store area? You know, if you need a place to store some things in a cabinet, right there by the, office desk, you could take, you know, 3 feet of it or something, or 4 feet. Or you could make it for a closed, you know, a closet to
You
keep
could just put
people's-
doors on it, I mean, on one side of it too, make half
Right.
of it storage and half
It
of
could
it.
be half and half,
Yeah.
sure. And, you know, there were little details that I was just looking at, maybe they're not that important, but I see the corner in the prep room and maintenance area, that corner where the dog scale is, I don't know, I don't have knowledge of how the scale works, or if it could be made to put somewhere else, keep it against the wall until you only need it, I don't know how often you use it.
Where the dog scale?
The dog scale is in the corner, I don't know, do you have your plans or anything?
The dog scale's in the dog quarantine.
Well, what is,
What was in the video?
what was in the video, it was in the,
We moved it,
okay,
because
alright.
it was in a stupid spot.
Yeah, it
We
is
don't
a-
ever walk our dogs in the laundry room, so we moved it to the quarantine, cause we don't have, cause we have kittens.
in the dog quarantine.
It's in the dog quarantine
Okay.
against the wall, so it's not in the way anymore, but we have kittens in there now and moms, so we can't bring dogs in there. Cause we have 6 kittens in the laundry room right now.
Sure, so,
It's moved.
okay, so then if it's not there as it was on the video.
That is an open wall.
That is an open wall that should be, you know,
Maximize.
storage,
Yep.
maximized, and that could be done now. You know, we could do this in phases, and you could have a lot of storage in there. I'm just trying to, I said that this is a plan that I had nothing to say about. I don't know who designed the, you know, all the cabinets and that kind of stuff, but it certainly wasn't designed by a woman who wants to have her kitchen be as efficient as possible, because there are wasted spaces and wasted
There
wall
are,
space.
everywhere.
And, you know, upper cabinets that could be put in. Like I said, for the prep room, washer and dryers can be stacked. The refrigerator could possibly get moved. There could be, upper cabinets on that whole wall where there's only 2 little ones by the sink. They could wrap all the way around the wall that's against the mechanical room. If you still wanna have the rolling the floor cages, and you had upper cabinets, there'd still be room for the rolling cages. And I don't know, Dawn, how much you use the lower cabinets that are on that end,
They're all full.
they're all full. What are they full of?
Well, one of the, I did some little cleaning yesterday, cause I was at my computer for too long in the phone and I had to take a little cleaning break. That's how I de-stress. But, one of them, I moved some blankets off the counter, cause we had pee pads in there, and I moved the pee pads in the back. And then the other one is full of bowls, the other one is full of those scratchers that we put on our, kennels that Deb buys for us. And then the other one is full of bleach and on dish soap, and, there's towels, there's washcloths, there's toys. I don't know, just most of it's cleaning stuff, except I did move the pee pads in the back to get the blankets that the kittens keep knocking off the counter because there's no shelf for them. I was sick of picking them up, so I put them in the cupboard.
Well, if we had a big storage unit
It
on
needs to
that
be a closed,
wall-
it needs to be a closed, on that wall above the counter, it needs to be closed cabinets, and that would help for the blankets, cause there was, you don't all know this, cause I don't know when the last person was in that shelter, but when I got there, they had stuff everywhere, and I don't like stuff everywhere, because when it's out and exposed, it gets dusty, it gets dirty, it gets peed on, so there was a lot of stuff everywhere. Huh?
Wasn't even put away.
No, just like on open shelves
Right.
everywhere, there's, you know what I mean, so I kinda tried to put stuff in cupboards, so I don't have to worry about
Well, that's
you know,
why I was trying to
cats peeing on
maximize,
it, or
Yeah,
dogs peeing on it,
that
but,
makes perfect sense, that's why I was trying to maximize that space where the refrigerator and the washer and dryer are. Because you could have a pretty big storage unit there with cabinets,
Mhm.
with doors.
Yeah.
And people stack their washer and dryers all the time, and what I understood was that the washer is a, you know, a pretty good commercial kind of washer. So we're not gonna go buy, you know, new washer and dryers so we can stack them, but people do make, you know, a thing that they can, you know, like a wooden base or whatever, that you could put your dryer on top of the washing machine, and then you'd have a lot more wall space to work with. And just like putting cabinets over the sink area in the prep room, that wall against the maintenance room is not big enough for the refrigerator and another little side cabinet unless it's stuck out further. there, so that was an idea that wouldn't work either. But, I just think there's so much possibility for improving the storage that exists, and I'm not against a garage, I think that could work, and I also feel like Dawn has told me that the storage shed that's out there, the red barn, is a mess.
Hey, it's cleaner than it was.
And I was gonna say, you know, if you need help with that, there are people that
Well,
could
so
come
we
up.
have the storage, the red storage
Right,
is basically stuff we think we're keeping, cause we had to go through that because we had to take everything out because the live dog trap, we had to trap a dog like in 2023. That live trap was way in the back. And it was stacked, you couldn't even get in that shed. So we had to pull everything out, so everything that I thought was garbage or not used, I threw in the other shed. So the other shed is basically stuff that we don't need or don't use. We did get some of it cleaned out, so you can get in there, but it's, there's not enough shelves in the shed to stack everything nicely.
okay, could you use the new
basically-
shelves, is there space for it? I mean, it's a, you know, a curved.
Everything would literally have to be pulled out of there.
Mhm.
I'd have to go through it all and see what actually we use. We get so many things donated and people just throw it in there. And we don't actually use some of that stuff. But then you don't wanna throw it out, cause some of it's like cages but it has to be gone through again. Nicole and I did it the best we could when we were trying to get the live trap out. We can get in there, we can find stuff. But if you had a garage that actually had the big, huge storage, you know, cause when you have a cage like that's this long,
Mhm.
it's hard to store that stuff, they end up stacking, and then you have to, you know, that's heavy stuff, but you need like big storage to hold big things. But anyways,
I think
yeah,
that would be.
we can get in there, it's cleaner than it was. We got an idea what's going on in there now.
Well, okay, we've thrown out a lot of.
Can I bring up one more, or
He
two more
is-
things?
Sure.
Okay, and I talked to Dawn, and like I said, I'm not trying to crush the idea of the addition. But one of the things which I understand is important is the idea of transferring disease or, you know, things that aren't good from one end to the other. That like maybe she doesn't want the adoption room in the back, because then you're transferring, you know, she'd like the healthy ones to be in the front areas. But if you look at the actual dimension plan as proposed, there are the 3 playrooms in the front, there's the hallway, but there is only one access to the back isolation room. And you have to go through the isolation room, through the cat condo area where the adoptable animals are, and through the food prep room. So I don't see that as.
Oh, he changed that. I don't know, because I talked to him about that. So when we did that plan, he did have it going, and I told him that wasn't gonna happen, that I can't have an open door between isolation and then,
Okay,
so when he changed that plan the second time,
Mhm.
that door is on that hallway and not through the cat adoption room.
okay,
can't-
so there
you
isn't
can't
the
walk
toy, there isn't the toy closet or whatever, and,
I don't have any of that with me, I don't think. But I had, yes, cause I told him I couldn't go through, you can't go through isolation and then through adoption.
okay,
It has
that's
to be
good to know,
separate.
because that isn't the one that I have here.
Where is it?
And also, I know you mentioned that one of your thoughts about putting the adoption room in the back, where the storage currently is, the way I had proposed that, you know, maybe putting the adoptable ones on the one side facing the street, and other ones against the dog quarantine, excuse me, is that the best practices say, you know, maybe you don't want cages across from each other, because then they can sneeze on each other and spread disease. Well, hopefully the ones that are back there are mostly healthy, if they're the adoptable ones. But in the cat condo room, there are definitely still cages that are across from each other. So, you know, we aren't gonna get everything totally perfect, I don't feel either way with the, I mean, we'll try to do the best we can, but there are still cages across from each other in the cat condo in the proposed addition to one of my other comments, so.
Well, I think,
I'd like us to keep thinking about it and having, you know, you haven't given me a lot of feedback, so I don't know what you're thinking about it, but, so, keep thinking about it.
Personally, I think you're going in a good direction.
I'm sorry, we
Yeah,
are,
you
or,
are.
Your idea is
With your opinion of, yes, the big one would be great, but it may come up very short, so if you come up short, you gotta have a good plan to make the best use of what you got with the money that you end up with.
and it is very iffy, you know, we can say, okay, we have a contractor, but it's like, we went through a long process of, you know, Morgan and Parley making a plan, and then, you know, putting it out there, and along the way, it definitely increased, and we don't know, you know, if that can happen again. And my question to you guys, cause I don't know, is if we do remodeling, do we have to, you know, and we're paying for it, you know, with donated funds, do we have to go through a formal bidding process like we always do? And just for remodeling, we shouldn't have to have state approved plans, do we?
I would believe you do,
yeah,
and also bidding.
Okay, well, bidding I can understand, but if you're not actually changing the building,
Well, you'd have, I mean, there's some things, the back storage is, the ventilation is horrible back there.
yes.
You'd have to redo.
Oh, right.
Right, ventilation,
But you're not like, you don't need to build
ventilation
anything.
is important, yes, and, other,
modifications would be building permits.
I have a comment, and obviously, I think people are giving you feedback because everybody's sitting there, eyeballs are going like this, mine too, of all the different, you've started people thinking seriously with your presentation. And, I think the more we talk about it informally or formally or whatever, and the more people experiment with ideas, I do think that we can come up with something that's affordable and reasonable, and, you know, right now, my eyeballs are spinning with all the different ideas, and I think we gotta move forward with something like this. I don't like to have to say that, because I want the big one, but reality says, by the time we get the big one, it'll be $1 million, and there's something immoral about that, I think, in my mind. So, let's start thinking. I don't want you to, I mean, you guys have the whole budget thing, and you have some major fights, like for the extra position and all that sort of stuff, and, let's go for that, and really start thinking, even if you have to have a separate meeting just to brainstorm and come up with something, Terry, that doesn't, you know, that you don't have all the shelter reports and blah, blah, blah that you have to do, but I think you started us down a good path.
yeah, and that's why I tried to give it to you well in advance, so you could look at some of the things and have some ideas, and if you haven't, you know, look at it some more, and
You
let's see
know,
what
that's
we're
right,
thinking about.
until you gave it to me, I looked at it, oh yeah, that's nice, but until you actually said something, I didn't really seriously think that it's possible, but I think that now it's something we gotta do.
And we could go and tour the building again too, because, you know, in my mind, what I saw is not exactly what it is when you go in and you see the
Yeah.
spaces, so that would be a good idea to do too.
yeah, I think we're gonna have to move along, but.
I'm done.
I'd like to make a comment though, because I am practice, in the end, I was. And I don't think we have anybody that's willing to bring in the money. That has to be remembered at the top of the whole entire thing. is that the want that we did with that plan was amazing, and I was on board, and I said, that's what we need to go for. But you get to decide what to build or remodel at that building, you guys have that choice, but you're not gonna fundraise that money. We are. And I'm not gonna do it, and I don't think they're gonna do it either, because they spent 10 years to do a third of that building, and I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do that price. The price of that addition is the price of the original building, and it took us 10 years then. I came in on the tail end, my mom came in on the tail end. We are not gonna be able to pay for that building. So as much as you sit here and decide what happens out there, we are the ones who are paying for it, because it's been said all along, we were paying for it, the public was paying for it, we were pounding the pavement for the money. Don't ever forget that in the end, it's your decision is affecting us, and I'm not willing to do it. I'm not willing to go that gung ho. That plan that I sat with my mom and discussed, I was beyond excited, beyond ecstatic, we need to make that kind of thing happen. That I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to do that $600,000 addition. I don't think these women are gonna be able to do it, I don't think the rest of the group is. Never lose sight of we will not have the dollars to pay for the addition, no matter how much any of us want it. Please don't, cause I don't have any time in my life.
Well, we could have the money if the city and county put in money. And for them to, I'm sorry, for you guys to say you can't afford it, you're choosing not to afford it because you didn't ask the library people to build the library, you didn't ask all the 4-H clubs to build the fairgrounds, you didn't ask the Trails End board that I sat on for probably 20 years to do all the remodeling at Trails End. It's totally incomprehensible to me that you would put this on us. You know, and I understand, you gotta build a highway shop, you gotta build a jail, you gotta blah, blah, blah. But we also need the animal shelter, and to expect volunteers to do it 100% is unreasonable and actually cruel, to tell you the truth. And, yeah,
And I
why
agree with
us,
her,
why
but I-
us, why not the library people? Why not the Trails End group, why aren't they all building the buildings? No, I mean, why were we singled out, you want something, you gotta build it?
That was like the skate park originally. I don't know if you've known, but the kids, the skate park coalition with the kids that were using it, the city had wanted them to raise all the money for it. And those were high school kids, junior high kids. And they would raise money selling rods, you know, at the car show or whatever. And they didn't get very far. And it's been, probably 10, 15 years at least, before they can finally do something. And it's not the coalition, the city's doing it, but their money's
There
going
you
in
go.
too.
So, I mean, you just need to rethink that,
Reality.
we are doing the best we can, it isn't enough, and the taxpayers need to kick in on this. You need to think about that seriously, and good luck with that, that's all I got to say, but good luck with it.
Okay, we have to move on,
Okay,
so
I'm out of
what's,
here.
what is the committee's response for, to continue this now?
Joanne's plan, looking at more into it, you mean? Or-
Yeah.
I'm for it, yeah, Randy seemed to be looking into it.
Looking into it, maybe go out and visit it again, maybe have, I mean, we got a new diagram today, maybe, you know, update one that's got all the stuff that we talked
Well,
about.
and the other thing, part of the reason it's so big is because you can't fit all the cages, that's why. But we don't have to use all the cages either. So the reason it, like, is that space is because all the cages we have in storage, that's every cage that we have, so you have to be able to fit them. But anyways,
Okay, well,
but yeah, thank you, Joanne.
Oh, you could
I
ask
really
all the
do have your
prisoners to go
best
to the
interest
jail.
for,
Oh, that's not constitutional.
Alright. Okay, so let's keep thinking about this and, maybe get a new diagram or something like this with updated stuff that you said some things had changed that she didn't know about and stuff like that for the next meeting and everything. Okay, let's move on to the monthly animal shelter
guys have
humane
your-
officer report.
You
lucky I can even walk these days. I couldn't use my arm for a couple days, my thumb was sprained. And then I got a rabies vaccine in this arm, so this one hurts.
Ah,
I hit the cover, I don't know, I was running up the stairs and I trip up them a lot. But at this point, I was
Yeah.
and I just smacked, I just hit the, and I don't know, my thumb must have went under, I don't know. No, very, just really bruised, and then my thumb is
Okay,
Okay. Alright, so we currently have 51 animals, at the shelter. And then we have a dog in foster, and then we have 2 cats in foster.
Same foster for the cats, or they,
No, 2 different,
okay.
and the dog is at Bob's house of dogs. The other 2 got adopted. So drop off is basically the stray ward, so, that's where these guys are. And then playroom 1, we did give Domino some new friends, cause I was running out of space. So he now has Belladonna and her babies living with him, with his other 3 friends. Or actually Belladonna's got 4 babies. No, she's got 3 babies. And then playroom 2, I added some more friends for Cooper, because again, we had to move some kitties, so the B kitties are now living with the A kits in Cooper. And back in the back room, kitties back there, tons of them, 13.
wow.
And then we have our adoption room. 8 cats in there, dog kennel, we did get a dog, we got a dog adopted last week and 5 cats, thank God.
Not all the same place, I assume.
No. So, we have 5 dogs total right now, for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's what we adopted. And Kitty Cat and Blair are the ones in foster, Snowballs in foster, and the laundry room has the rest of the B kits, and then the N kitties. Everybody's happy, healthy, we got a couple little skinny kids, one that has a hurt leg, but they're all good. Alright, any questions about kitties and dogs?
This old cats looks like, oh, you're getting old.
Oh, some have been there, like Domino's been there a little bit, Dharma's been there a little bit. Yeah, we gotta get into that. Domino's babysitting me right now.
Cooper's 3 years old, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, for humane officer, so I just sent out 27 final notices for rabies vaccine and licensing. 27. I have 10 more to check. So those were people that either have not licensed their dogs in several years or never have been licensed. These are not renewals. These are just people that either I found them for, either I sent them a ticket for something, and then I sent them a warning letter, and then they never did anything, so these are but there's 3 in Bruce, 12 in Ladysmith, 1 in Sheldon, 1 in New Auburn, 2 in True, and then Stubbs, Washington, Wilson, Willard, Marshall, Flambeau, Thornapple, and Hawkins all have 1 that I sent. And I have 10 more to check. I've had 1 animal complaint in the last month. And then I've just issued a citation yesterday. And I forgot to write my rabies quarantines down, but I think I had 2 or 3 in 1 week more. Cause everybody's animals are fighting. So,
Sorry, was there some, a dog fight over in the library?
yes. Yeah. It was.
It was dog against dog, or was it,
It was dog against dog.
wasn't pit bull, wasn't the staged, or what do you call it, wasn't something like pit bulls, it was just 2 dogs.
No, one was a Cavalier King Charles and one was a pit bull. So no, it wasn't staged. But I'm working on that with, Chief Julian, cause that's a whole other,
Yeah, they had a cop there, that had what, Monday?
that happened. I believe so.
Some,
It was on Sunday.
over that way, the day after, and the report from an officer, oh, it must have been Sunday, Monday, right off Sunday. Corbin had a report, people were whipping through Corbin, or avoiding parked like maniacs, and what are you doing here?
The little dog had to be rushed to the vet, so, yeah, but, Chief Julie and I are dealing with that.
Pretty bad one.
Pit bull did get hurt.
double muzzle on maternity workers.
Okay, anything else?
I'm trying to think, I don't think so.
Okay,
Oh, okay, do you want me to mention the problem down there, since it was brought up or not?
where?
Might as well, you're talking about already.
On a flammable?
Oh, yeah, you can mention.
I'm not mentioning his name, cause I don't like that.
Right.
So, I can't get that guy to his office yet.
How many is he down to now? I heard various stories, he got up to like maybe 5 or 6 at one point.
He had one dog that I am aware of in 2022, that dog has passed away, that dog was 14 years old, it was impounded once. It had health issues, I think it was diabetic or something, anyways. And then the next dog, came in a few times, obviously, like 2. And then that dog, got hit on the highway. And then he replaced that dog with 3 dogs.
1 for 3? To be for 1?
Apparently. But now he has 2, and, I can't legally take he's feeding it, he's taking care of it. If, one of them did get impounded a couple weeks ago, and he did not get it back until he paid everything. So everything was paid, the dog was vaccinated, the dog was licensed, he took it, there's nothing wrong with the dog, it's not emaciated, it's, you know what I mean? And I've spoke with him at length, I reprimanded him, I yelled at him, I yelled at the child, she's older, and I've issued citations, and
Well, citations will, if he's not paying the excise, all you have to be paying him off.
I don't know if he paid him or not, that has nothing to do with me.
I know, but eventually, I thought I heard from someone that eventually, even if they don't pay him, they'll come and get, they might have some jail time.
He might, that I don't know.
Yeah, that, but again,
Oh,
once
Or
you-
loses,
what-
or loses license, but he doesn't have a license anyway.
Oh, he drives anyway,
So-
probably.
And he may have paid him.
driver's license, so.
Probably knows it, yeah.
So, but I think, once Dawn issues the ticket or citations, the same thing, then it goes into the track system, then it's out of her hands. She
Yeah,
can't
I
do
don't-
anything more about
those
it
are
or
not
anything, that, then it's in the court system.
Those are not those are citations through the county, that's just like a police officer, I don't.
Right.
Once it goes in, once I send that envelope in the mail, I have no idea what happens with it, I will know if I will know if a person contests this ticket, because the DA will email me and ask me for more information or photos or whatever I have for that.
Right.
If they don't contest it, I don't hear from anybody. He hasn't contested any of them because he knows,
He's doing wrong.
and he has apologized to me several times, but that doesn't matter if they keep getting out.
Right.
And the neighbor, you know, if her door screen got damaged, she needs to make him pay that, that's not, I can't make him pay that.
Right.
That's property damage, she needs to call whomever
File a
and
complaint.
file a complaint
Sure,
for
it's fine.
property damage.
Smart Aaron.
But, I mean, this is 5 now that he's gotten, and he's gonna keep getting them until, like, I don't know, you know, I can't go on his property and take his dogs, I can't,
I saw people commenting about that.
that's illegal.
Right.
Unless, now, when they're on the road, absolutely. But it's very hard to get them, cause they take off. But, yeah, legally, he don't even have to let me on his property, he's let me on his property every time I've gone over there and
Talk to him.
talked to him. I just talked to him on the 2nd and explained to him he has got to get this under control. And he understood, but
But
then,
you'll still keep giving out citations, 'cause I know people have asked me that about that recently too.
oh
You-
yes,
you just
he's
issued
told me,
it,
I just did.
You just did, what,
Now his
yesterday
dogs
or
are
today?
causing property, I just did it, yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, his dogs are causing issues and he has to get under control, but I can't
There are limits that
force
you can do.
him until I mean, I can give him tickets, I can give him lectures, and if his dog is impounded and he doesn't wanna pay for it, or can't pay for it, then he doesn't get his dog back.
How many days does that last before he has up to his
He
fine?
has 7, if you have a known owner, he has 7 days to come and reclaim his dog.
And I've known owners 4 days.
Unknown owner is 4 days. So,
And then it goes up for adoption.
yes, well,
If
if
it's
it's
for adoption.
fixed.
Quarantine and all the,
Right. But, else I can do. I mean,
Except you have a bunch of kids to
I
talk to.
talked to him till I'm blue in the face. I don't know how else to get it through their head to not just open their door and let the dogs out.
Is that one of the cases where he said that they use the excuse, the kid opened the door and the dog just
Well,
slipped out?
he said to me that most of the times when he's home, he doesn't have an issue with them. That he doesn't allow them to, he said usually if the kids are there and he's not there, that's usually when he has the issues.
But all the kids, they like grade
Well,
school.
one is 17 and these
Old
are not
enough-
little kids.
Old enough to know.
They
better.
just either don't,
Care.
so I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's not being ignored. He's not getting off for free, and the other thing is, the other dogs that were being talked about are deceased. They're gone, and, you know, at that time, you know, if he has something running, doesn't have any money, I don't have any issue, and the last one, he did have an appointment for that dog to get a rabies vaccine and license. And if he already had an appointment, I'm not gonna hold that dog for 7 days, cause then now he's gonna owe me more money, and that dog, had severe separation anxiety. It was completely ballistic in the kennel, I don't wanna keep that dog there
Cause more
any
problems.
longer than I have to.
Yeah.
Well, and you had called the vet to make sure there wasn't a.
There was an appointment, well, and unfortunately, by the time the next time it came in, little did I know, because it was like, it was a Saturday or Sunday, I don't know what happened, but, the girl came and got the dog, she's got no money, she's like, he is vaccinated, you can't call the vet, either I called the vet and left a message, or they weren't, I don't know. So, because the dog is a wreck, okay, I will verify this tomorrow, I'll wait till the vet calls me. They had never done it, how do I know
And
that?
they've been previously had the appointment, or was that a different?
Yes, they never showed up, but you don't know that until.
Until you talk about yourself.
Right, so, but that particular dog, I mean, just fell apart in that kennel, so I didn't wanna keep him. So, you know, you do something nice for someone, but then after that last one, when I found out, I was like, hey, now you're getting warnings and now you're getting this, I said, but once he replaced that dog with the 3 dogs, that was the end of it, I'm like, I'm not, no favors, I'm not listening, you know, I'm not gonna believe you, you can't do
You
this
used it
until.
up, yeah. What kind of dogs are they?
The ones he has now?
Yeah.
They're probably pit bull and something,
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure they are, I don't know for 100% sure, but
Right.
they're probably they're huge.
That's the head.
They're like, yeah, they're big dogs,
Holy
70
crap.
some pounds, they're not even full grown yet.
They're not full grown
I
yet,
don't, they
baby?
might be just, yeah, they're big dogs. But I don't know if they're, I mean, but anyways, so I'm not ignoring it, I'm not doing, I can only do so much.
Right. You don't have so much authority to do so much stuff, about
Right.
property, talk about property. Like a, well, basically a cop.
Okay, let's move on, let's go to budget review. The first budget here is 2024, current year, remember this is for 6 months. So just going down there and looking, you know, cleaning supplies are over for the year already, but I mean, that's a small amount. We just look at it, we'll hit some of this other stuff, when we do the 2025 budget, we'll take a quick look at that. So you can see here, just going down, you know, the first lines are from, you know, wages, workers' comp and all of that stuff, so she doesn't have any control over that. Contracted services, telephone, again, if you took what's in the year to date, doubled it, that would be roughly what the budget should be. You
I don't know, I can't find it. You gave me one.
I gave you a package. Yeah.
I'll find it.
So, going on down again, you know, the thing, transfer to gift fund, we already know about that. Maintenance transfer, again, that's from here. Look at the second page. Again, animal shelter receipts, so there they've got in 6,000. So far, we said we get 10, so we're probably ahead or doing well on that. Shelter donations, going down, they don't have this, 48,500. That's, you know, people just donating, saying we wanted to go to the shelter. It's something fairly new, we had last year a little bit. So that's why it's not budgeted for. Dog transfer tax, again, you know, that's at the end of the year. We don't have anything in here for the city share. Well, if you look at the bottom, they're 40% increase, that's a rough calculation, 22,000 would be here. But, it's gonna be closer probably to 60 or something by the end of the year when all the expenses are in. So again, that's the operating one. The next page is the building fund, and you remember we've got the building expense there, 810, that 6,500, that was for the architect, that we paid out. And then we got donations in about 6,100, so we're short about maybe roughly $400, but you can see the beginning fund balance there, so we probably got a little over 16,000 in the building fund right now. The next page is, spay neuter. Again, we've spent 7,700 so far. Again, we've got donations in about that, and included in that donation line are the aluminum cans, and it's about 1,300, almost $1,400 in aluminum cans. So again, we're, about $1,500 spent more than we got in, so you just take that off 30,000 from the beginning balance before. And then the last one is the gift fund. Again, the bank fees, I think that's PayPal charges.
Yeah.
We haven't spent anything except, we did, animal shelter. Again, that's those, I don't know if that was the beds or whatever, that's the stuff that was approved, because anything out of the fund has to be approved. So again, the beginning animal shelter fund is, that you can see the 82. So again, that's a quick review of that. Any questions on, again, this is 6 months. Okay, the next one, this is the preliminary, very preliminary, a draft of 2025. We have to hit this up, and if you notice, the very top line has the additional full-time person in there. When you see, okay, if you look at this, 2023 is actual, 2024 was the budget, and we have 2024 for 6 months, and then estimate for 12 months, and then the request for 2025. So again, there is for the full-time worker there. The next line, the overtime wages, well, that's part-time help. You notice that that's down for next year, because if the part-time one becomes full-time, you've got to take off the part-time one off that line. And then management rate, so these are all, things, health insurance is going way up, well, again, that's on the assistant wages, and everything, so you can see that the total wages is up substantially by moving to, having a full-time one in there, plus the fringe benefits and, health insurance and all of that. Then looking at the other expenses here, again, if you look, well, like I mentioned, the middle column, there's 6 months of that may not tie out to the sheet that we just looked at, because these were done at different times, so they may have entered another month, another invoice in or something like that. So just running down here, utilities, in 2023, that's 229, we're over 9,000. Well, we're going to come in under that right now, but we don't know if all the utility bills have been entered in currently, so we had to estimate. Now, Dawn went through and filled this out, and then I reviewed it with her, and some of these numbers changed after you and I did it too. So we did 8,000 there. Building maintenance, again, just going down there, you can see we increased some of them. I think if you go down to, what is it? 339 for training. Dawn hasn't had any training this year, but we put it in, a high amount for next year, because certain dues to maintain her animal humane officer thing and everything are coming due, and that would go in there. And then the next one was 340, and remember in 2023, we had 5,600, that was the air conditioner or a lightning hit. We haven't had anything in there, well, we're putting in 2,500, just,
Just in case.
something, something goes wrong. not another light.
Yeah, cover it just,
And then when we start going with animal food, animal shelter supplies, animal supplies and everything, we're keeping it pretty much at the budget, even though we're way under this year, because you said you've gotten a lot of donations.
The more donations for animal food we get for our animals, the less I have to spend.
to that, but we don't know if we're gonna be getting that next year.
Right.
So we're
right, plan
we're
for it.
leaving it in there. And I guess for 356, the auto, gas, maintenance and everything, we're still running, we still left a good amount in there, although some of that may be, we may start charging the mileage and all of that and gas stuff to spay neuter, because we have to run to Neilsville for it. That really is a spay neuter expense with the mileage going down there and everything.
Can I mention while we're going to Needlesville?
Yeah.
I see a lot of things on social media that are 100% incorrect, and I need to, the veterinary clinic that we go to in Russ County is booked till next March. For all surgeries.
You
Period.
mentioned that before.
I have.
both of them.
The other one, the fees are different. So, and from when I talked to that place, they've never, well, I think she said they've never really done any of them for us, very randomly. So, that's why we go there, plus we can do 20 at a time, 20 cats,
Rather than take just
rather than,
5 or 6.
but they did do one on last Friday, they called me the night before and said, hey, you got, cause they had a cancellation, so we still are able to, but
You have
it's
calls.
very random,
Yeah.
very random, because they're hours. So that is why we have to, because if we sit and wait, we are gonna be overcrowded, and they're just gonna be sitting there getting stagnant, and I can't have that. So, that is why we're having to do this now, all the cats, we can get them to Purple Cat, that's only 45 minutes. Also, the vet clinic doesn't do any early spaying and neutering, so if we did just that, all those kids would have to sit there till they're 6 months old.
What,
We ain't doing
6
that.
months is, 4 or 6 months is early?
Anything before 6 months is considered early spay neuter. So that is why we're doing all that, because we can't get them in where we need to, because they are booked. Now, I did have one where I did beg them a little bit, because it was a dog that needed a couple teeth pulled, and some of those can't do that for us, so
Oh.
anything that's like a specialty, or if an animal has to have something done during its surgery that they cannot do, then I call and I beg.
Understandable.
I'm like, please, you have to, so sometimes if it's something really important or some kind of emergency that, that they need to do for us, like if it needs to be spayed in a couple, they will get us in where they can, but normal, they're just really booked. Otherwise, we would definitely love to do that and not have to run, but we can fill the vehicle up with a couple dogs and a bunch of cats. So when we go over there, we make sure it's worth our while, that we bring as many as possible.
Full load.
Yeah, and Purple Cat does not do dogs, so they only do cats.
Did
So,
they ever mention they were doing dogs at some point, or not?
I don't know, she still is the only vet there, I think, too, so. And we've had some help from other places too, that'll come and grab a few for us, take it here or there. I did get a cat, paid for by, the Dixes Inn as well, so they paid for that cat to go in, cause it was, an owner owned that was feral, that I just didn't want to get pregnant, so. Can you help me out with something? So, but that is why, so.
Okay, so
Sorry.
continue on here.
I did talk to Lady Vet.
Did ya?
Yes, I did, and she does laser surgery, for one
Yeah.
thing. She said she would wanna have rabies and an exam.
Yep.
And I can't put my finger on the prices that I have, but definitely more.
It's gonna cost us
It's
more.
gonna cost you more, and she said that if, she would like to do it, but if she did, she'd be losing money, so.
And I get that, and that's,
He doesn't
it is what
necessarily
it
wanna do
is,
it.
so. We're working it out.
Yes,
Okay, so looking at, the last two items there, 930 and 931, those are transfers. Maintenance transfer, they have 7,000 in for this year. We just put in that's how much, if maintenance goes out there and does stuff and everything, it's a transfer. Indirect costs are again something new that, Jamie put in there for 10,000 for next year. Again, they're allocating more costs, from the general pool and everything out to the different units and everything like that. So when you look at the expenses for next year, now again, remember, this is very preliminary, this is going to have to go to finance, and it'll probably get chopped around, and then it'll, I don't know if it comes back here, and then, it will eventually end up being approved by the county board. But you can see that we're showing right now 235, whereas, you know, it's like 60,000 more than in 2023. A lot of that is, you know, having a full-time person, because the insurance premiums went way up for the county for next year. And this is adding that in again, which we never had before. So again, and we're trying to keep, you know, the budget for that. Okay, then for the revenue now, we're putting in 100 for kennel permit. We're estimating we're gonna get in, you know, 14,000 in, animal shelter receipts, but we're making it 12,000 for, I mean, you don't wanna over promise, you know, what you're gonna need, cause you don't know. The city share, again, that's an estimate, but the city share is going up, again, that's 40%. Shelter donations, that they just say, you know, you take this and put it in for operations, well, we're estimating 4,000, who knows? There's that, down there, 3 lines from the bottom, trans gift fund, transfer from the gift fund, that's at 3,167, you saw that on the gift fund coming in there, so we said, well, we don't have anything that, and dog transfer license fees, okay, we did get 26,000 last year, I'm guessing same this year. I just raised by 1.5, and per the resolution that we just did, you know, it said additional fees would be 6,400. But again, that's just based on 2023, if the dog things go up or down, so I'm being conservative by putting on, yeah, we should get more, but don't know. So, this is the general fund. The next one, again, this is just throwing some numbers in here. They have in here, the 50,000 transfer, because that was going to go into capital projects for the new building and everything. That's just an item where year to date, and for next year, well, I'm going to. Okay, building fund, so the 6,500, again, we talked about that for actual for this year, and requests for next year, I'm putting down 0, that we're not spending anything, you know, we don't know. The 6,500, you know, is paying the architect for the design. Building donations, we're estimating that we'll get, well, this year, we're already got 6,100, so 7,000, where we put 7,500 for next year for donations. Again, I'm not showing, the transfers out of E1,000 or something that they were thinking about, you know, maybe for the new transfer to capital projects. All the transfer to capital projects would be for building the new addition. Yeah, well, from here, on the back here,
There was 283.
State leaders on 254. I'm sorry, 284.
There was, it's like 250.
it looks like
53.
Okay, well, again, the only thing that affects the tax levy is the regular operating. So, building one we did, if you look it over, where the gift fund, and again, it shows the transfers and everything, and we're just saying, okay, we'll get the 2,000 requests for the next year. The spay neuter, again, you know, that is one more other. Unless we got,
What page is that on?
284.
I don't, it's not even in mine.
Seven of 283, mine.
There's, okay, so 283, 284, I'm sorry. You can see, Heather expense, well, it's spay neuter expense, we're estimating it's gonna be 16,000 for this year. We put 15,000 for next year again. Spay neuter donations, we're being conservative, it should come out pretty close to that, and then with the aluminum cans, that may all go into one line. So again, you can see the balance, it would be drawing down by 4,000, you've got the beginning balances there and that other stuff. So again, these are, remember, the only one that they get really concerned about is the animal shelter one. Oh, I know where it is. It's on the back page of, it's on the back page of the expense. That I had to rip off. So again, all of those, the other three, you know, the gift, spay neuter, and the donations are do not affect the tax levy. And the only one that they will be concerned about is the tax levy one, which as you've seen has gone up will have gone up quite a bit. And again, this will probably get adjusted. In fact, I guarantee you it will be adjusted. So I think the next thing is that this will go to the finance committee. And then, they'll make the suggestions or changes on that. Okay, so any questions on that? That takes care of that. Review bills, okay, we've got the bills in there. Are there any questions on the bills?
Just wonder what your premiums, for those boxes, cases, individual boxes. $22, there's 3.
Wow, I gotta get clean.
Well, I know you need them,
Everything's
but
expensive.
so if you got shopping, it's steel man, it's shopping for all of us, so.
Any questions on the bills? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills. Any motions made and seconded to approve the bills? Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, say no, motion carried. Fracas, do you have a report?
Yeah. Well, I kinda lost my notes and everything. I think Joanne touched on a lot of stuff with Aaron. Yeah, from what Aaron and Paula said, there's no way that we can raise enough money for, 10 years from now, we might have, but.
But then the cost will go up another
I
million.
know, yeah, like she said, $1 million probably. Anyway, we had that fundraiser 3 weeks ago now at Ace Hardware. We still don't know how much we made, we were supposed to make half of whatever they took in. And, I thought we did pretty well, but
They haven't let you know yet?
no.
Give them a buzz.
I was hoping we'd know before this meeting, but, Paula said something about next Wednesday maybe. No, but, this guy apparently doesn't live here, that is bought Ace Hardware, and, he's just kinda like the owner, not the manager. So he's gotta go through all that, and we just want you to know we backed Dawn all the way, she's just perfect, and, nobody's perfect, but we just think she's doing a great job, and hopefully she's not gonna leave us. I know it gets frustrating at times, but,
Michael, the ACE fundraiser was half of actual sales, right?
Yeah.
Not just profits, you know,
Right.
not just,
yeah, half of
So
the
if they
sales.
sold 10,000, you get 5.
Yeah, right, yeah. I think on Thursday, the first day, they probably did their best. And then we were on Friday, but I thought we did good, so.
I wonder about something.
Yeah.
I think they said Women with Courage maybe made 4,000, is that what?
Oh, really?
Paul
I
told
heard
me?
something like that,
They were there.
yeah, so.
I'm sorry, what?
What day,
I think they were probably Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, they were Thursday, yeah. So,
Okay, anything else? Okay, if there's nothing else, our next meeting date is August 15th, at 8:30, and think about, you know, what, Joanne has done, and, you know, maybe some new, no. You know, or are you planning to have another diagram thing, or after meeting
No.
with-
We'll figure it out.
we'll see.
I spend days and days just trying to put
I got
stuff.
the, I got the gist of your ideas, which,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We can't wait 10 years.
And can I say one more thing about budget related, Terry, if there was yet within this year, something that goes wrong at the shelter, that $3,900 that came out of my fund, my Ross County Community Foundation fund, that went into the building fund, and hopefully, you know, I was thinking it could be used for the new building. But that really fund is for maintaining the quality of the animal shelter building. So if the air conditioner or whatever, something goes out, that's really what that money is for, even more than building a new thing. You know, it's to keep it in good condition, so.
Okay.
And Dawn, then you know that too, if something goes out, there's $3,900 in there that, you know, really.
We've been,
for
maintenance has
that.
been on it with the changing of the filters and coming and checking before, when spring got here, you know, all of our stuff, the right stuff's on, you know, the things, all that, so they've been, cause that's, I think, kind of maybe what kind of went, why some things either weren't working well or broke, or, you know, whatever, that nobody was checking that stuff for us, cause a lot, it's like, I don't know anything about maintenance.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
if
I
you
can
have-
change a filter, yes,
Yeah. And if you have certain things that you really want to see done, or that you can, you know, determine you want us to do, let us know that, and like I said, we could do this in increments and
yeah,
improve it.
the garage idea, I think is,
that's something that would help, like,
Yeah.
you could get rid of those 2 sheds, kind of an eyesore, I mean, they work, but they're not really, we have had to go through, last year wasn't that bad with snow, but that other year,
yeah,
imagine
Okay.
us getting in and having to shovel all that ice and 6 feet, you know, trying to get in those sheds. And then you gotta go outside and it's raining for, you know, whatever, it's like, it would be nice if, cause we do utilize, so all the cat traps and everything that we utilize are in the shelter. Like, I pulled them all out and we bought new ones, cause we went through there, a lot of those traps were trash, I don't think they had been used in a while, I mean, they were buried. So everything that we utilize is in that storeroom. If you had a garage that was heated, and you don't even, and maybe just, you could pull one vehicle in there, but the rest of it, we don't have one vehicle, I guess, and
yeah,
could all be storage and just,
yeah.
Would you store the food out there too in the garage or not?
if the garage is heated, yes.
Okay, but would they be like metal containers or plastic tubs? I mean, cause the.
Well, they would be unopened bags,
The plastic storage tubs that were out at the old shelter.
yeah, well,
Rats.
mice will chew through those.
Oh, yeah, they.
But
yeah, they
I
were
think a
affected
lot of
by
that has to do with because I think though it was in a shed or a garage that wasn't heated or wasn't
Right.
maintained or
Yeah.
wasn't,
Oh, that area was terrible.
you know, I feel like if it
I
was
saw them in my
maintained,
yard.
Yeah,
would
that was
be
terrible.
Bad,
better, but
right,
that's
definitely.
just something, you know, and it doesn't have to go in there, but it's just an idea,
Right.
if things are heated and good,
Yeah,
hopefully, but yeah, those rats and mice will eat right through plastic.
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
cause then there was, I don't want to have any animals, because the one cat had
Yeah.
to fit,
Yeah.
and the rat was trying to get
just a
food.
matter of going
Okay.
through it and,
Well, I'd like to say the next meeting is on
August
August
13th.
15th or 13th? 15th,
15th.
Okay.
And with that, if there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting at 10:38.
okay, we'll see you then, see you guys. Thanks.
Thank you all for coming.